Guys, it's no secret that summer is actually my favorite season. I know we all have a favorite season, but summer is mine. That being said, there is something about fall because of the colors and textures that are everywhere, the change that happens, that is just so invigorating for the creative soul. And I had to celebrate that somehow into this design that we're making today. This will be from the uh, Sunset in Tuscany kit. All the materials will come from that kit. And also, if you're looking for even a more specific list of materials, you can check out the video description. And in there, you'll get not only the list of the items that I'm using, but also some tidbits and other things on good playlists to check out for my channel on YouTube and where to join up to get involved with our Silky group called the SilverSilk Silkies. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Nilay Patel. I'm the owner, designer, and educator at SilverSilk and more, and my job is to bring you guys fun, inspirational, creative projects using SilverSilk. You can find me in a couple spots. First is, of course, Facebook, and if you're looking for a lot of inspirational photos, you can check out my Instagram. And before we get started with today's project, I want you guys to give this video a giant thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That way you don't miss a thing. So I just want to dive right into this project because I'm so excited about it. I want to show you all the colors and textures that are involved. And here is actually what the finished piece looks like. And I'm going to actually pan my camera down to my work table. Yay! So we talked about a kit, Sunset in Tuscany. And Tuscany was, for me, that beautiful vineyard evening sunset on, like, toward the end of summer, beginning of fall, when you're really, I mean, you can bring out wine there all the time, of course, but there's just something about that rich color palette that I enjoy and wanted to bring and offer in this kit. So let me go over some of the contents that are in it first, and then I'm going to tell you about which tools I'm using, and then we'll start constructing our design. With my kits, and by the way, these are not monthly kits. I kind of just put them out sporadically, so you can check them out at silversilkonline.com and just kind of check back in with the website because there's always something new and different on there. With me and with SilverSilk, you never really know. This is sort of the color palette that I drew from it, and this is, again, just to sort of get the fall season and fall fashion started, and the photo behind where I picked all the colors from. So it's just an absolutely stunning, gorgeous photo, and the perfect fall palette. I also use this color palette, for those of you who might not know, to actually make a custom knitted chain for the kit. This custom knitted chain is not available as a regular product on my website. You can only get it through the kits, and it's a very limited run. So that being said, let's just dive into what that chain looks like. This one, I went with a brass, or actually a bronze color that's been knitted over dark brown holographic pearlesque tinsel. And the chain that's inside of it is an actual antique copper chain, ball chain that's inside of it. So it's just a very heavily layered chain. It's quite robust. It is absolutely stunning and will match with all the different beads. And really, again, just celebrates that beautiful fall palette within it. And it's got a slight rainbow tint, of course. Can't have a pearlesque chain without that very special sparkle. I included a variety of things. I also included some hollow mesh. This is 2 feet of the dark rose color. And you can fill hollow mesh with beads, with chain, with, oh gosh, leather cord, which is what I also included in the kit. And it's just a really great versatile chain that you can really transform into whatever you want. I actually made a project with Sarah Lovecraft using the leather cord and this hollow mesh, and it just ended up gorgeous. So those are a few things that you can play with. Of course, I included some strands of matching beads, some fall leaves, and some carnelian colored beads. These are not actual carnelians, but they are They do resemble it, I think, with just the way that they look and are cut, and then some yellow bicone beads. And then I have a custom bead mix in here, as well as some end caps. And last but not least, you do get a fall-inspired leaf pendant. In fact, that's what we're going to be using today. So lots of fun goodies to play with and really get inspired from. So let me put this stuff away, and then I'm going to show you the project and what the tools are that you'll need for it. Half the work is just getting my table organized sometimes. It might look a little bit more put together where you're looking at it from, but behind the scenes, it's a little chaotic. All right, so this is going to be our finished necklace, and I'm going to be using a different color clasp, but the layout is exactly the same. For this project, you will need your pendant, your beads, and your end caps, your pearlesque chain that are included in the kit. The things that are not included are a couple of jump rings that you'll need to attach everything together with. And I'm using 6mm jump rings. You'll need a clasp, and I just picked out whatever was in my personal stash. That's the most decorative and pretty toggle clasp, and this is a front-facing clasp, so you don't have to worry about having extra end caps, or you don't have to worry about fidgeting around in the back of your head trying to figure out how to clasp it. This clasps up front, and it's a beautiful asymmetrical look that I hope you'll give a try. You'll also need some soft flex beading wire, and I chose citrine for this. It's just a beautiful orange color that again celebrates fall because I'm just so excited about the colors and the textures and everything. So gotta have all of the colors in it, and I can't think of a better company that has such beautiful colors in their palette of beading wire. And not only is it just colorful, but the quality and how you use it is just superior, in my opinion, for the other beading wires that are out there. And I love using it time and time again. So I highly recommend you pick up some medium beading wire in citrine for this project. You'll also need some crimps, and you can't go without beading wire from Soft Flex without their crimps as well. And I just have a few here in their hematite color. Their crimps are completely seamless, and they are double the wall thickness of other crimps out there, which means that you're going to get a very secure, strong hold on your project. Very important if you're looking for longevity and some wear and tear throughout the years. That happens to every jewelry piece, but I think this helps to prevent any of that stuff happening later down the road. So good materials are always key to having a long-lasting project. What else? You'll need some of your leather cord from your kit there. And I made these fake little knots that actually just add another texture. Today's word of the day is texture, so I'll be saying it a billion times. But this just adds a little extra texture, and this fake, I don't know, it looks like it's, you know, maybe leather wrapped or leather tied or something, and it's really not. I just added those in just for purely aesthetics. So you'll also need some E6000 industrial strength glue. This is a silicone-based glue. I know there's other glue brands out there that you may prefer, and I encourage it, whatever works for you. I've just had this on hand, and I love using it time and time again. So it works well with the leather, which is what we're going to be using it on. So I encourage having some glue that you love around. And then as far as tools go, you guys may or may not know my favorites, but my favorite is Wubbers, and I'm going to show you all of them that I have, because I have my fabulous 3 pliers here that I use for practically everything. My round nose, my wide nose pliers that have been dipped in Tool Magic, and what I use for my findings. And then I just have a pair of standard chain nose pliers. So these I like to use for everything. I'm not going to be using the round nose today, but I will be using the other 2. So I'm going to leave those set out here. And then I've just got a pair of crimpers, so you can use those if you want to. You can actually flatten the crimp in this instance that I'm going to show you as well. And then just a pair of great cutters that I'll be using for both beading wire and my chain. I like the Lindstrom pair because they're just super sharp and work for everything. So again, just have your favorite pair of cutters. If you prefer not to mix them, you can have a pair of flush cutters for your chain, the SilverSilk chain, and a pair of, I guess, a separate pair of flush cutters for your beading wire, and that seems to work okay. Alrighty, you're gonna start by cutting roughly about, let's say, 1.5 feet of beading wire. You could even probably just work with 1 foot, but it's all good. We can do 1.5 feet just to be on the safe side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to string 1/2 of my clasp with the jump ring on. I'm going to attach it with my jump ring and then just basically insert it right in into my beading wire, string it right on. And then I'm going to actually create my knot because that's the second component that slides up. So to create this knot, all you have to do is grab some, oh, I have some setting out here, some leather cord from the kit. And all I did was just find a good spot on the leather cord here. And I just literally just made a simple overhand knot just once. And then I kind of just tightened it to the best of my capability. I didn't tighten it too much because I do want to try and squeeze in a little bit of glue here if I can into the knot just so that it stays nice and secure. So you just do a little dollop will do fine. You don't need too much. Again, you just want it to make sure it doesn't fall apart later down the road, and then you can continue to tighten to your heart's content. So this looks pretty good. And I can simply just trim it off right there. Okay, you can let this dry, or you can be like me, just string it right on and let it dry as it's, you know, fully strung. I don't think there's any issues with that necessarily. So that'll just slide right over, and you could see that it kind of tucks away right next to that jump ring and just hides it very well. You may, on this side of the necklace, use the other half of your clasp, which I'll show you here in a second, instead of your toggle piece. So to this, I'm going to now string my little vessel here. This kind of reminds me of either like grapes or like a, I don't know, some sort of vase that you'd see with a grape motif on it, which to me is fitting for Tuscany in the best way. So that is going to be your first step. And then you'll notice that you've got 2 pieces of beading wire here left for stringing. So let me show you what I did. Okay, I went ahead and pre-strung everything, and you see that I switched out my toggle piece there at the end into my circle catch there. And then simply you have your knotted cord, your little grape vessel there, and then I strung 16 of these little leaves, and they're just going to stack quite nicely on top of each other. And then you can figure out a pattern that you like with the beads that were in the kit. For this one, I just use my yellow bicone, a little square ceramic bead, a glass bead, another bicone, and then your pendant, and then all those same things back in reverse. And what these are going to do are layer on top of each other just like this. So I'm going to unclip both of these, and I'm going to basically do that pattern in reverse. So I'm going to end here with my little vessel. You see that it's just stacking so nicely together, and those leaves are just going to move around quite well. And then you can stack in your, string in your knot there. And then you can basically grab a crimp. This is like the easy part of all this. Well, aside from the stringing, I would say this project overall is pretty easy, but very clever in its design. Personally, that's what I think. You may disagree or you may agree. And if you do agree, leave a comment in the video and I want to read them. And don't forget to give a like as well. All of that stuff is important for keeping the channel alive and kicking. All right, so I actually want to go ahead and attach my jump ring, and I'm going to attach it to my single strand end cap before I even crimp all this, only because I don't have to do it later and it just makes it easier. So all I'm doing is actually, you can string them both the same direction, you can crisscross them, and tighten that way. There's a multitude of ways to do this, really. But I just crisscrossed my wires, and then I just go in with my pliers here, and I just squish the crimp. It stays pretty secure. Again, you can crimp it the traditional way. I just think it's a little hard to get between that knot and to be able to do that. So I just take a little bit of a shortcut there, and it seems to be okay. And it'll just hide right in that knot anyway, as you can see. So now I'm kind of ready to construct the rest of my design. So really, you could just grab the chain from the kit and just measure what feels good to you. Like I probably want my necklace about right here to hit my pendant will hit about right here. So I'm just going to mark it with my finger and then cut it off. Okay, and then I do what I call conditioning the wire, which just means to shake out those little fuzzies that happen. That happen to be there as you cut the wire. And then you just simply go in, put it inside of your end cap there. Okay, and then you grab your flat nose pliers that have been dipped in tool magic. So the tool magic is very important because it doesn't scratch your finding when you crimp it. It also gives you a very good grip on the finding so that it doesn't slip out and fling across the room. Very bad. So you want to make sure that none of those things happen with your crimping process. And so I just recommend the tool magic, and then you just press it, making sure that the seams on the side are nice and flat and as closed as they can be. Perfect. And then I'll come around to this other side, and I'm going to do the same with my other end cap here. So, and I don't think I'd conditioned this end by taking out any of those wire fuzzies. You see how many I have on the table here? They get in the way of crimping, so I just like to remove them with my chain nose pliers before inserting them into my end cap. And you wouldn't believe how much easier it is once they are removed to crimp all this. Perfect. Okay, and I'm going to now just attach my little jump ring here. Ooh, yeah, yep, that's what I want to do. Okay, and you see how I have the actual toggle bar on the top and then the catch on the bottom? And that's just going to make it easier to loop around and to string on. So get those out of the way. So now I've got two beautiful fall-inspired necklaces that some lucky person in my friends or family is going to be gifted. And I just think that these are so darling and so quick and easy to make. And I hope that you guys that grab the kit will give it a try as well. So let me flash back to the picture and then flash over to me. And I want to say thank you so much for joining me for this quick little tutorial. I hope that I've at least inspired you and gave you some education on some of the design process as well as the materials behind this project. And again, just give this video a big old thumbs up if you loved today's video. And leave a comment if you want to ask a question or express any thoughts or musings that you might have about fall. But otherwise, you can check me out at my Silkies group on Facebook or Instagram, where you can follow me and check out all the different pictures and reels that I have that are also inspiring and show little tidbits of how to make stuff. So I leave you guys, again, hopefully inspired, educated, and all of the above. Welcome to fall, and I guess I will see you guys again at the next tutorial. Mwah! Take care, and giant hugs from me, Nilay Patel.